My favorite hobby is to recreate crochet garments just from looking at them. So let's get ready together while I give you my top 3 tips on how to recreate your own crochet garments. My first tip would be to deconstruct the garment that you're trying to recreate. The best way that I would recommend doing this is, first of all, gathering as many pictures as you can. All you're doing is trying to determine the shapes of the garment rather than the final product of the garment. With this top that I'm wearing right now, you can see that there are no clear seams anywhere on the front of the top, which means that this whole panel has been cut just as one shape. If you're recreating a garment that is sewn rather than crocheted, then basically you're going to be zooming in on the photos and looking for things like darts, seams, basically anything that helps create the shape of the garment. If it is already crocheted or knitted, you're going to be zooming in on the photos to look for things like increases, decreases, different stitches, having a look and seeing if you can determine if something is done in single crochet, double crochet. So you're basically just going to spend time studying the garment as much as you can. This is probably the most annoying thing to have to do, but my next tip would be to make a gauge swatch. I know they are so annoying, and when you get really excited about a new crochet project, you just kind of want to dive straight in. But the thing is, if you do that, you're just going to have to frog it a million times until you get the stitching right and the sizing right. If it is a crochet garment that you're trying to recreate, I would recommend doing a gauge swatch to try and determine what the actual stitch is that's being used. If it is not a crochet garment, then you need to be figuring out what stitch you want to use in the garment. You don't want to start the project thinking that you know exactly what stitch you want to do. Trust me, I've done that a million times and I've always ended up having to frog the entire thing and start again. I do future you a favor and just do the gauge swatch. If you want me to, I can do an entire video diving into these steps a lot deeper and also other tips. Let me know, I can do a full YouTube video on that. My last tip would be to get creative with it. Some of these patterns have been designed by people who have been crocheting for years, so they're bound to have taken steps that you might not be familiar with yet, or might even be a signature to them that is actually not really well known amongst the crochet community. So it's really important that you don't put pressure on yourself to get everything right and exactly the same. I just recreated this dress, but I made a top version of it instead because I can't be bothered making a whole crochet dress. But I know for sure that I didn't do everything exactly the same. I don't have the dress on hand. I can't determine for sure that I've done the correct steps, but it looks similar enough for me and I'm happy with it. And I also saved myself about $400. So